I have to admit, I've been feeling some malaise every now and then. Sometimes things really get me down, and maybe you've had some malaise too, and if you had, I know you're not alone. Despite the impressive technology and resources we have in the 2020s, there's still plenty to worry about. But I know one thing that always gets my spirits up, and that's pretty much just a good story. And one story type I wanted to talk about is likely one you've already heard before. It's, of course, the hero's journey. And while the essence of the hero's journey has been around basically forever, it was pretty well defined by the late great Joseph Campbell. After reading some of his work and taking a look back at some of my favorite heroes, I came away feeling more energized than I ever have been in a while. But why exactly do I and so many more throughout time relate to these stories? What even is a hero? And is all this fantasy more than mere escapism? Well, join me and we can find out together.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. And every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
We have not even to risk the adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. The labyrinth is thoroughly known. We have only to follow the thread of the hero path. And where we had thought to find an abomination, we shall find a god. And where we had thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. And where we had thought to travel outward, we shall come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we shall be with all the world.
Much of the beauty of the hero's journey lies in its simplicity. You may have seen this diagram before, which has countless variations, but for this video, this simpler version will do just fine. A character starts in a familiar place, then is challenged in an unfamiliar one, and returns by the end to that familiar place, having undergone some sort of transformation. In essence, it describes almost every story ever. As Campbell put it, a hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there, encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from this mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boons on his fellow man. The point of this isn't to LARP about your favorite superhero or have some falsity of grandeur at the expense of someone else. No. The main idea of this is going into a new situation, learning something, or having made some revelation, and leaving the situation elevated. This is learning from experience, and I think the heroes of our stories show us this exceptionally well. What's more is our ability to see their emotions. The emotions and internal struggles of these characters was pretty much the most important part, which is why character-driven tales work just as well as the plot-driven ones. Pain, suffering, emotional damage, fear, loss are all things we share with our heroes, and when I do see a hero triumph, it gives me hope that I can as well, at least in some way, maybe not the exact same way, but you know what I mean. The hero is shown at their lowest points, no filter, at their most vulnerable, and you can relate to that better than in the real world, because you rarely see a person's lowest points like that just going about your daily life. In a story, the characters are often presented as they are, no facades or personas, and sometimes it's a nice break from dealing with your cagey counterparts in real life. Still, I'm not saying we should substitute understanding the real world with narrative analysis, not by a long shot. What I am saying is that being aware of the lessons of heroes and their adventures in conjunction with being a dynamic actor in your own environment can only help. My philosophy is more about using stories to add to your experience rather than to escape your experience, which leads me to my next point. So, you can look at going to the movies, anything like that, as kicking back and getting away from the world, sure, and that's plenty justifiable. But I've been looking at stories in a different way, and it has been so much better than just taking an escape. You see, a mentor of mine told me about what he called additionism. It's something he practiced instead of escapism. He would try to understand the work of art as best he could, and try to come out of the experience elevated, having learned something every time. Moreover, he had the philosophy that good stories add to the world. Once a creator published a work, it was now a part of the world, fictional in its content, yes, but real in the fact that the story exists. Basically, the way he put it to me was, the world is a better place with Lord of the Rings on my bookshelf. And it sounded pretty lofty to me at first, but once I thought about it, I never looked back, and it's made me appreciate the beauty of storytelling, as well as the real world, more and more than I ever would have with an escapist mindset. I can see those connections between the real world and the fictional ones, and I can become a better storyteller as well as a better real world liver, you know what I mean? Anyway, and that's what's gotten me out of a rut recently. In the intro to this video, you saw many of the heroes I've looked back on for this video, and they are all heroes that I admired in either my childhood or even more recently. Viewing all of them as part of my world, in a sense, as well as the hero of their own story, helps me relate to them more and to pull more inspiration from them, rather than just to see them as a simple way to escape. But with regards to those heroes at the beginning of this video, what makes them heroes? Is it the fact that they're the main character, that they're superhuman, and is it even worth comparing ourselves to them? Well, before I attempt to define a hero, I think there are some misconceptions about what a hero is and isn't, especially in regards to the hero's journey. Mostly I've seen some commentary online and in person criticizing the hero's journey. These arguments aren't super fair, and they boil down to saying that there are, billions of people in the world, and that you are an NPC, so fantasizing about your own hero's journey is fruitless daydreaming. And I'll be honest, this kind of fucking pisses me off. So to start, you should immediately be skeptical of anyone that suggests you are an NPC, because this is likely a projection that they have their own insecurities, that they in fact may be what they see as an NPC. And a lot of these critics assume that your life will never be as interesting as those characters on adventure. And aside from the fact that they are literally just making assumptions about people they will never f***ing meet, another beauty of the hero's journey is that it doesn't have to be a spectacle, okay? It doesn't. In my experience, when I look through things I experienced through the hero's cycle, I always am able to learn something new, even if it was from a mundane experience. And a lot of these critiques come across as being contrary for contrary's sake, and they just seem pseudo-intellectual, and they miss the entire point of the beauty, nuance, and relevance of the hero's journey. Now, of course, the hero's journey is open to lots of interpretation, but I feel like this negative spin really doesn't do much good and misses the point of what a hero truly is. This is the definition that really stumped me when writing this, so I'll just put down my current thoughts on the matter, and if I change my mind, I'll be sure to make a new video, so be sure to subscribe. So, the best way I can say it is that there are two types of heroes. The first one we can just call a helping hero. Ideally, someone with good character and allegiance to the idea of helping those in need. Think of the superheroes of our current comic book mythos, yes, but also think of those in your own community. Doctors, firefighters, volunteers, so on and so forth. Heroes in the real world. Then there's what I'll call a journeying hero, and that is the hero specifically described by Campbell in his monomyth. This hero ranges from the greats of Greek mythology to the legends of ancient China, to Martin Luther King Jr., or even to Sean Spencer from Psych. What unites a different cast like this? It's a good question, but aside from their hero's journey, they all are active participants in their environment. They accept some kind of call, and they go out and act on it. It may be big or it may be small, but it has consequences that hopefully change the hero for the better. And you might be saying, oh, those are all main characters. Yes, but again, the hero's myth is not about world-ending stories every time. It can be small scale, things that just really matter to people emotionally. All the way from Hercules doing the 12 labors to Sean Spencer. That's a pretty big step down, if you know what I'm saying. This is a scale that covers a lot of ground and that basically any human can relate to. The task may be big or small, but it has consequences that hopefully change the hero for the better. And that leads me to my other example of a hero. You. Yes, the world is pretty crowded and competitive, but you will always have a choice to be an active part of the world you inhabit. You don't have to shoot lightning, fight basilisks, or overthrow a dictatorship to go on your hero's journey, though you are welcome to do so. You just have to act, learn from that action, and then keep going. Thinking about this has gotten me out of my malaise plenty of times, and I hope it does for you as well. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could like and subscribe, maybe even share the video, I would appreciate it so much. I'm trying to get a more consistent schedule for my content, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I'm happy to be back making a video. This one was a really special one for me, honestly. I just kind of wanted to talk about the hero's journey. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a comment, because I'm definitely open to lots of lively discussion. So until next time, adios.